Yeah, well, we're on to Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati. It's nothing about the past, nothing about the future. It's right now we're preparing for Cincinnati. We're getting ready for Cincinnati. We're getting ready for Cincinnati. That's what we're doing.
In the United States, we don't do Zahltag. We turn the page on our national crimes as quickly as possible. We don't charge felonies when misdemeanors will do, and we don't charge misdemeanors when we can impose a small fine and a warning. Our country's twin original sins, the Native American genocide and the institution of slavery, have never been adequately confronted, let alone atoned for. Americans seem to believe that if we just don't talk about our sordid history, then that history doesn't exist. In a related story, the Trump regime is actively attempting to prevent schools from teaching about the betrayal, the slaughter, and the forced migration of the indigenous population, as well as anything to do with slavery. Donald may as well be saying, the Civil War? There were good people on both sides. This let-him-off-easy attitude persists. We welcome the Confederate traitors back into the federal government with open arms. We end the occupation of the South before securing the safety of Black Americans. We allow institutional racism and sexism to fester. We let JFK and LBJ off the hook for Vietnam, and Nixon and Kissinger off the hook for Cambodia. Ford pardons Nixon. Bush père pardons the Iran-Contra conspirators. Obama ignores the war crimes of Bush fils and Cheney. Biden installs the useless Merrick Garland at the DOJ. And even after the insurrection and the Musk-influenced 2024 election, sits cozily by the fireside with the head insurrectionist and Kremlin stooge playing nice-nice as if all is well. This is how it goes in the United States on to Cincinnati.
Yeah, well, we're on to Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati.
Trump, his inner circle, and his ICE Gestapo may be Nazis, but they have a long way to go to catch up to Hitler. I don't want to suggest that the current American strain of Nazism is equivalent to the Third Reich in terms of the misery, cruelty, and mass death perpetrated on humanity. It's not. But we're certainly goose-stepping down that swastika-lined path. The tide, however, might be changing. The headlines these past 2 weeks all center on various manifestations of the Trump regime's evil doing. The ICE Gestapo's illegal occupation of Minnesota, flagrant thwarting of the Bill of Rights, outward displays of cruelty, kidnapping of children, and extrajudicial execution of innocent people. The brazen corruption of Trump, his family, and his cronies enriching themselves in ever more staggeringly unlawful ways. An audacious attempt to sabotage the election process, and the unfathomably awful revelations in the Epstein files, which have leaked out in dribs and drabs like Chinese water torture. It all adds up, and the whole of the Trump redux evil is greater than the sum of its malignant parts. Today, there's a convergence of criminality. Every bad thing everywhere all at once. Amoral men and women of great means and influence in league with Jeffrey Epstein and his child sex trafficking network. Obvious Kremlin assets. Social media influencers paid by God knows which hostile foreign power. West Wing masterminds commanding a marauding army of thugs and goons. Election saboteurs. Plunderers, looters, and thieves. War criminals giving succor to Putin and to Bibi, murdering men in fishing boats, deploying horrible new weapons, ordering the invasion of other nations. Ultra-high net worth appeasers who capitulate to Nazis rather than risk their vast fortunes. Enemies of democracy, destroyers of our venerable institution, serial rapists of children. An media ecosystem that gaslights and lies and covers up the regime's crimes, trust washes the criminals with Renfieldian alacrity. It's hard to process because it's so overwhelming. And the crimes. So many crimes. We have national security crimes, sex crimes, financial crimes, health crimes, war crimes, crimes against humanity, crimes against justice, crimes against the climate, crimes that threaten the very survival of the human race. Broadly, however, what these are crimes of betrayal. Trump and Epstein and all of their co-conspirators, from Peter Thiel and Rupert Murdoch to Stephen Miller and Kristi Noem, from Elon Musk and Jared Kushner to Howard Lutnick and Steve Bannon, from Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg to the corrupt justices of the Supreme Court. They've all betrayed us. As John Keegan writes in his Churchill biography, to the Nazis, legality and fair play were symptoms of democratic weakness that they gloried in affronting. That applies here. These people are traitors. Full stop. I've been using that word, traitors, for almost 10 years now, because it is subjective and also because there is no more accurate way to describe them. The traitors I used to write regularly on Twitter are easy to spot. And these people are all traitors, every last stinking one of them. They're traitors to our country and the free world. They're traitors to our national security. They're traitors to our children. They're traitors to the health of the nation. They're traitors to the economy, to the value of the dollar. They are traitors to our natural resources. They are traitors to the climate. They are traitors to women. They're traitors to people of color. They're traitors to the LGBT community. They are traitors to poor, lower middle class, and upper middle class white people. They are traitors to the most vulnerable. They are traitors to legal immigrants. They are traitors to dreamers. They are traitors to Afghan nationals who helped us fight the Taliban. They are traitors to refugees. They are traitors to our allies. They are traitors to our treaties and international agreements. They are traitors to our soft power. They are traitors to our hard power. They are traitors to 342 million people living in the United States. They are traitors to me and you and my family and yours. They are traitors to the Constitution. They are traitors to the very spirit of the nation, its animating force, its first principles, to truth, justice, and the American way. And for what have they betrayed us all? For power, to sate their sadism and cruelty? For wealth, to throw still more gold on their glittering mountainous stores? And for lust, to rape pubescent girls and boys with impunity? They want to brutalize brown and black people, add to their already vast fortunes, hoard all our natural resources, and fuck 13-year-olds. For those depraved ends, they have sold out the country and the free world and the entire human race. And anyone who doubts this at this point is either living in denial or applying for a job at CBS News. This is, or should be, a Zahltag moment in the United States. Meanwhile, Trump and his co-conspirators are desperately flooding the zone with some MAGA version of On to Cincinnati.
Yeah, well, we're on to Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati.
I don't know if we are in a battle for the soul of the nation, as Joe Biden once said. I don't know if nations have souls. And if they do, I'm not sure ours wasn't lost long ago. What I do know is that if there are no consequences for what these Trumpist villains are doing now, and for the evil that Epstein and his cabal of rich and powerful perverts have wrought for decades, there is no coming back. If we on to Cincinnati this, the United States is doomed. Another thing I know, neither the Justice Department nor the FBI nor the judicial system is functioning adequately enough to handle the level of Zahltag required to get us out of this mess. The norms that Merrick Garland fought so stubbornly to preserve evaporated on January 20th of last year. His bought and sold successor at the DOJ is Trump's personal fixer, his Michael Clayton. The Bureau is run by a perjuring fame whore. The lower courts have stood their ground admirably, but they are simply not equipped to deal with what's coming. And we cannot risk Roberts, Alito, Thomas, and company putting their fat thumbs on the scale. Indeed, any purge of evildoers must include the corrupt co-conspirators on the Supreme Court, who have enabled this madness as they guzzle $200 bottles of wine on some oligarch's private jet. Nor can we stand for members of the second Trump cabinet to line up like lemmings before some Alex Acosta 2.0 to rat out their cohorts in exchange for immunity, en route to a fat podcast deal with a deep-pocketed organization that should know better. No effing way. Not this time. Our Zahltag cannot be handled in the usual manner. The question is, what to do about it? In any other country, at any other historical period, the traitors would be tried, found guilty, and put to death. That's what happened at Nuremberg, and I don't think anyone shed a tear about capital punishment back then. Time was, we even did this sort of thing here in the United States, as the Lincoln conspirators FAFO'd. That is obviously, and perhaps regrettably, not an option now. As badly as I'd like to watch a live stream of all of the traitors walking a long, narrow plank into a live volcano, we must not fall prey to our baser instincts. I have a better, more humane proposal. Congress passes a law I call the Act of Betrayal. This will lay out exactly how the Trump traitors are to be tried And who will sit in judgment so we avoid the bloated Supreme Court traitors rigging the system? Perhaps there is a truth and reconciliation component, as in South Africa after apartheid, although I don't want any of the big fish traitors to wriggle out of the hooks of justice. The act of betrayal will establish traitor tiers. Just like we have Class A felonies, we will have Class A betrayals, because not all traitors are created equal. Mike Johnson, for example, is clearly a disgusting and oleaginous traitor, but he's also clearly not as bad as, say, Stephen Miller. And the act of betrayal will mandate the punishments, which will fit the crimes. The most suitable consequence for the amoral, nihilistic oligarchs who have betrayed the country is asset forfeiture. We have to take their money, all of it. It's ill-gotten wealth and it doesn't belong to them. So if and when we convict, say, Peter Thiel of Class A betrayal for working with Jeffrey Epstein in the Kremlin to install Trump in the White House, he gets to choose life imprisonment at Gitmo or asset forfeiture. And when he opts for the latter, we leave that sweaty Nazi with $192,000, the median net worth of an American household, and seize the rest of his fortune. Every last dime, every last crypto coin, every last share, and every last Silicon Valley startup. Given the disgusting wealth of some of these traders, asset forfeiture under my proposed act of betrayal could gross almost $1 trillion. Money that could then be allocated to education, healthcare, disease control and prevention, and the restoration of U.S. aid. I mean, just look at this grotesquerie. Elon Musk, $450 billion. Mark Zuckerberg, $229 billion. Bill Gates, $119 billion. Robert Parra, $31.4 billion. Rupert Murdoch, $24 billion. Peter Thiel, $23.9 billion. Alex Karp, that's the Palantir guy, $14.6 billion. Leon Black, $12.7 billion. Les Wexner, $9 billion. Donald Trump, $7 billion. Paul Singer, $6.7 billion. Glenn Dubin, $3.9 billion. Howard Lutnick, $3.3 billion. Steve Witkoff, $2 billion. Robert Citrone, $1 billion. Scott Besson, $1 billion. Jared Kushner, $1 billion. Eric and Don Jr. combined $1 billion. Jess Staley, $118 million. Steve Bannon, just a paltry $30 million. That totals $940,648,000,000. As my boss would say, that's real money. I'm sure there would be pushback from the oligarchs, from their slick attorneys, from powerful lobbyists. Members of Congress would be reluctant to betray the betrayers who are their donors. We would be accused of being communists or Marxists or whatever word scares enough American idiots in their MAGA focus groups. But it's not like asset forfeiture is some wild idea. We already seize the assets of convicted mobsters and drug lords. Why should traitors not be subjected to the same fate? Did the Union not seize property belonging to disgraced Confederate General Robert E. Lee and build Arlington Cemetery upon the grounds? How is this any different? As we approach the 250th birthday of the United States, the country is at a crossroads. The American experiment is sputtering. Either we take action or we perish as a nation. Der Zahltag rückt naher is the wrong tense. It's more like Der Zahltag ist gekommen. The day of reckoning has come, is here. We have to make certain that the Zahl is great enough to save our national soul. Cincinnati is named for the Society of the Cincinnati, the country's oldest patriotic organization, which is itself named for the Roman statesman Cincinnatus, who became a dictator. And dictatorship is exactly what we'll get if we onto Cincinnati this. Der Zahltag ist gekommen. What are we going to do about it?
Yeah, well, we're on to Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati.